Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, honey, which is acidic, which is incredibly bitter, which is, salty, borderline inedible. But at
You know,
the
it's
end of the
hateful.
day, yeah,
Hateful.
hateful, hateful. But at the end of the day, mild sweetness at the end. Just like a little, you know what it is? Like a little thin mint, a little
Just
sprinkle.
like just like a little sprinkly dinkled
Y-
of it just but mainly just hate.
Dinkle's the
Let's
second
talk
word.
about Danielle. Do we not hate Danielle?
Yeah.
Has this taken a turn for the Big Ed worse? Like
Yes.
I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it. Oh, you know what? We forgot to get pictures of them again.
Yeah, like I was like, wow, I just like put up a bunch of pictures, but I know you mean like their actual whatevers, but I don't care. We're talking about these people, honey. I mean, yeah, like I always feel so bad because he's so tall and no bed is comfortable for him. Like, look at him, like half his body's up against the wall. Here's the good news is he's so tall that Wa's not upset that he has his shoes so long because they're not touching the bed.
I
Wa?
mean, yeah. She's just the smallest usurper of this tall hung man, you know? Like
I can't
I just
imagine.
find her to be a little thief. Is what she
Little
is.
bandit. We should call her the blonde bandit, honey. She is.
She just the little curvy mean asshole. But let's start with them since we're here.
Mhm.
There's just so much to say. I have so many thoughts and I don't want to let it go. In fact, I literally want to start backwards and go. I want to start at the last scene, but I know we can't. Okay, so here we get this little mean devil. Cuidado, cuidado.
You
No,
must have
actually,
never driven in your own country before. You're so stupid and young and stupid in your own country. Like like he drives every day, you bitch.
yeah. You know what? I'm gonna say the reason why I think that Danielle is Latina is because she only has one L in her name, and that's a very like Latina way of spelling Danielle. So I'm gonna go on ahead and say that she's like just. Anyways, there's my thought on that. She is a little monster. She has gone to this country to find a man that she can control because men have been mean to her all of her life, and she is taking it out on Johan.
Wow.
That's the only thing I can say. Then we get to his house and there are muchas gentes, just like muchas gentes, you know what I'm saying? Just
Mhm.
like not only has he not left the home, but his sisters haven't left and their loved ones and children. Like so many people. So I don't know. Did you notice if the man who was talking was his father? Did you notice any other men there?
No, no, but that man, I mean, they all seem to love Daniela, and she just came in, honey, como esta, honey, 16 times, just like in this, and yeah, he's like, they all go loco for her, they just love her, and as well as they all have the dream he does, which is for him
Yes.
to get his ass to America and work, and so she's there. She makes an interesting remark, which is like, listen, like we don't stay there because it's a lot of people, which is 16 fucking people, and there's not air conditioning. And then she also then says, but after 24 hours, I get mean. And I was like, you are already obnoxious, and the fact that you think you get bad after a certain time even makes me see that off camera you're even worse. We're seeing the best Daniela we can. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And I just think I can be a rude person, but how is it that someone just so blatant disrespectful and rude has a husband and I'm over here just like trying to get by, you know?
Mhm.
Um anyways, so whew, we have the
Wait.
pleasantries with the family
Mhm.
and then we go into his bedroom and she says that, hey, I know you thought, 20 minutes ago that you were going to be going to the US, but the answer is like you're not going to be going to the US. Like I want to live here. I want peace, I want happiness, and I want to vivir aquí, you know? And he's like, you don't understand. In his confessionals, he says that she doesn't have a clear idea of what it's like in DR and that it's not a vacation. You know, and it's different. But then I think he's like, you know what? I just have to let her see how hard it is to make a buck here and how hard it is to get ahead here. So he's devised a plan in his mind where he's like, listen, okay, we'll stay here. But as soon as it gets hard and we can't make money, we're going to go to the US. Yeah.
You know what I realized is that we never said what we were talking about, which let's just listen. We'll label it so you know, and listen, anyone who listens to us know what we're talking about. But just in case we want to go back and say it, we're actually talking about 90 Day Fiance the other way. This is season 4. This is the second episode. It was called To Have Peace. And that was when Wa said peace. I was like, oh, that's the name of the episode that we never said. In my mind, that's I was thinking, I wonder what it comes from. And it's Daniela being like, I just want to like not live in America. I just want to have peace, you know? And it's like, it's so funny because she has this is okay. She has this idea that Johan has this grandiose idea of America that he thinks he's going to come here and just be like dripping money from the moment he gets on, you know, the earth, and that she feels like he's so dumb and naive and or whatever ignorant to think that, right? Conversely, she thinks that like life in the DR is like a perma vacation and like love and like, you know, is great or whatever. And he's like, she's nutty that she thinks that, you know, like
Yeah.
she's so it's just like this kind, I mean, you know, I guess this kind of like showdown of like, all right, bitch, let's see where we make more money.
Yeah.
Let's
And it,
see where we have a better life.
and she's like, I'm gonna live off my pension. But then she's gonna be frustrated. I mean, just like she's gonna live off her pension, but she wants him to like pay for stuff. And I'm like, why can't y'all just pay for what you have? Like, why can't you pay for the things that you want? And then he pays for the things that he wants. So, like, here's an example. If you go out with somebody who makes less money than you, and you're like, okay, I'm not gonna not go out with this person because they make less money than me. I like this person. However, I'm also not going to hold it against them that they can't take me to fucking Lobster every night. Like, no, if I'm going to go to a restaurant and I want to order 2 appetizers, I'm going to order 2 appetizers. I'm not going to eat it all, and if he wants some, he can have some. Like it's just weird that she is expecting him to live up to her standards when she's coming there with a distinct advantage of being retired and having way more money in the bank and a career and everything, and he doesn't have that. Like she met him doing, you know, downward dog at a freaking hotel, like, you know, teaching old women like herself how to rumba or whatever.
Yeah, and then she
So
was doing downward dog right in front of him. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like right literally in front of his huge peenie. And you know, like even then he had to like make sure that she was like doing it on some sort of stool. You know, he's so tall.
I-
So basically she gets in also like one thing that she also has a lot more of than he does is skincare steps. And she does it all, honey. She brought the rose oil, she brought the rose quartz roller, she brought like that little like brush that you put masks on. You know, I don't know how many serums she's doing. You know, she says she can't do full 10 steps. She's doing probably like, I'm just gonna go ahead and say like 3.5. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like she's doing at least 5, right? She had the roller, she had the like scraper spatula, she
Mm-hmm.
had she rubbed ice on her face, so
Oh,
she
okay.
figured that out. And then she started to tell him that she needed a refrigerator for her bathroom, and he was very verklempt. I just think it's weird. Like, yes, she's doing it for TV, you know, to have entertainment. It makes sense. Yeah, blue, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, great. But also, I think, do sometimes Americans not think that they're being ridiculous when they're talking to people who come from such poverty about such luxurious things? Because while, like, I don't find it unfounded that somebody would have a mini refrigerator in their bathroom, I do think it's crazy to tell someone who like doesn't have a bathroom that there's a fucking refrigerator in it.
I need a big bathroom for my little, like, you know, cute 1950s looking desktop fridge that I got from Amazon. It's like pink. It has one of those like metal handles, you know, I like put it in. It honestly can fit 1.5 Diet Cokes and like maybe some canisters, you know, of like, I don't know. I mean, obviously it's a whole thing, but yeah, she's like she vasculates between saying that he's dumb for not having enough money, or that he doesn't know how much things are, or why doesn't he have more money, to being like, I want to do what I want to do, which is live here. And then like kind of I don't know.
pull him along with her and then expect him to pay for the things that she can. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, then it gets told to us that he has a business, that he has like been doing this butcher shop business that he is going to bring Daniela to, and she hasn't been there before. So they walk into the butcher shop, and there's a gentleman, maybe a cousin working there, and the meat is out, and there's flies, and she like loses her mind over this, and he is just like, oh, this is how it is, like I show the meat off like this, we do, like, this is like everyone does, this is how it is, like you just show the meat off, there's like flies in every butcher shop, and she like doesn't understand it and really makes a very big to do about it on camera, which is of course not the choice you would do if you were a supportive wife. It is the choice you would do if you were prompted by producers to make a big act of choice. Wow.
oh my God. You thought it was producers and she agreed to that shit?
I'm just I leave it up. I give you both sides.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair, Chris. Thank you.
Okay. Mhm.
I mean, it hadn't even crossed my mind that might have been the thing, because if that were me, I'd be like, no, I can't do that to my husband. Here's the truth.
Yeah.
I am bougie. Okay.
Mhm.
From somebody who comes from very humble beginnings. Because of said humble beginnings, I have said, as an adult, I will never say no to myself because my parents said no to me one too many times.
Never say no.
And I'm coming back with a vengeance, to my detriment, to my credit card detriment. I have said not no to myself. Now, that being said, when I go back home, and back home is not really my back home, it's my dad's back home, and I see something that is shocking, I don't talk to the people who are there, like the locals. I don't ask them about why they've got a shanty shack in the back with a hole in the ground and I'm supposed to pee in that. I don't ask them. I go do it. And then I whisper to my aunt, or I whisper to my uncle, I have to go to stay at a hotel because I require plumbing. You know, and my aunts and uncles are the same way. They're like, oh yeah, no, we don't, we're gonna go to a hotel. You know what I'm saying? And they're from this place. So it is rather shocking to me to have someone who is supposedly a worldly woman who like prays to Ifa and like wastes food in a river, would come to her husband's job and plug her nose up and die on a hill because meat that she does not have to eat is out.
Yeah.
Talks about bacteria. I mean, talks down to this man
Mhm.
about first world shit as though refrigeration has always been a thing in this world. Girl, what do you think folks who didn't have refrigerators did in like whenever there weren't refrigerators? They did exactly what Johan is doing. People ate shitty ass meat back in the day. That's why they cooked the hell out of it. At least in the parts of the country, parts of the world that Johan is from. Johan is from a part of the world that cooks the shit out of every single piece of meat you have. That whole rare beef nonsense is in a different place. Not nonsense, but that style of cooking is in a different place. It doesn't exist on the islands. We cook the shit out of our food so that all that bacteria gets out of there. We season the shit out of it. So it is really rude of her to come there and do all of the things that she has done in this manner. I mean, I was shocked because I didn't expect her to be so bad. And when she was like, where are your books? Show me your books. Oh no, you need to have software. I said, bitch, did you send him software money?
Also, same thing you were going to say before. Like, we don't always have software. People have been doing business for years without software or whatever, like Quicken you want to use. And I just wanted to like say you're absolutely right. Like, this isn't a situation where someone is forcing you to eat something you don't want to eat. This is a situation where you are giving your opinion that is very loud and negative. You
Very.
know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's crazy. Like, no one asked you. Like, I mean, you could just be like, "Oh, lo siento, una pregunta, mi amor, pero no hay frío aquí. ¿Es normal? Sí, es normal. En muchos tiendas no es frío. Oh, okay. ¿Y Moscos es normal? Sí, también. Oh,
Yeah.
sí, es totally, es normal. Sí, también en todos los butcheries. Like, oh, okay. Gracias.
Yeah. Or she could be like,
Like,
she could also be
bye,
like, you know what, babe? You know what could make our business a cut above the rest? I'll go ahead and invest, and let's just get like a butcher's cabinet. It's glass on the front, and
Mhm.
it's Frio inside. So I will support you in this, but I think we want to provide a quality piece of meat, and I'm gonna pay for it because that's what I want for the people in this barrio.
Yeah, like, "Oh, see, in America, see." And then you
En
just
mi
like that.
país, en mi país, los
Yes.
carnes es en un, es frío, and
I don't know how to say refrigerador. I don't know how to say
yeah,
mirror
I
or
don't know.
glass
I'm sure it's
keyboard.
reflection. I'm sure there's some kind of word that means reflection, or it's like mirror. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, but then as we already said, then she brings out her computer with like some weird, like, weird
She just does like a
cover on
Mac
top.
budget. All she does is pull up a Mac numbers and plugs numbers in. She didn't even bring up any fancy ass software. I looked at it. It was numbers.
Yeah, she like literally was like, "So you buy this and you make this and then you only have this, so you're like losing money? Like, how do you even do it?" And he's like, "Okay, well, sometimes you don't always make money. This is a brand new thing, blah blah blah. Like, obviously, I just got some of these things. I'm still paying back. Like, well, and I think she wants obviously, and she didn't say this, but it felt like she wants him to go back to working at the hotel. Like at the hotel, he made more money for like it seems that was like some sort of part of what she was trying to get him to say.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Where's the money coming from? Where is it coming from?" I mean, does she like thinking that he's like a stripper on the side or like a prostitute, and so that's where the money's coming from? Or is she like, "Oh, are you using the money that I send to pay for your bacteria ass meat? Where's the money coming from?" And then he's like, "Okay, girl, so then what's your idea?" And she's like, "Well, no, I'm just trying to tell you how to have a business." And he's like, "Okay, then what is your idea?" And then
Yeah.
she's like, "I feel like I'm playing Who's on First." And I said, "Don't you bring that theater game into this. Don't you dare bring that communications game, YouTube video into this." And if you guys don't know what Who's
YouTube
on First
video.
is,
It's an old
it's a
comedy
skit,
sketch.
but
Yeah.
it's on YouTube. So if you guys go to YouTube, put in Who's on First, and it's basically a like comedy skit from like back in the black and white days where men were working and women were in the kitchen.
Vaudeville.
and it's about two people who are talking about a baseball game and who's on first and who's on second. Anyways, and it's just funny.
Hey, did you watch the game yesterday? I got a big question. Who's on first?
Yeah, like and what's on second? Not what's on second. Who's on first? Who's on first? And get out of here's on third. It's like all these things. But anyways, check it out so that you know what she's talking about and you get how she feels like they're like missing each other's points. Um so then the next thing we have is her in the confessionals, and she says, "I don't understand how I'm supposed to spend my life with someone who can't even be bothered to do basic math." And I said, "Translate that into Spanish, and I need for Johan to divorce her immediately."
Yeah. Yeah. She is rude. I mean, she is call me rude girl, like come on, come on. I mean, she really is.
An asshole
Yeah, she just looks really bad all the time, like and I don't think that she knows she does. Like, I
at
think that
all.
if she in her mind, she's like, "I'm looking like, honey, I know what I'm doing, and, like, wouldn't everyone else be weirded out by, fly-covered meat?" And what she has to kind of assume that telling him that she'll move with him to America and then changing her mind was bad, but I also feel like what she's not saying is this: who cares if his big dream is to go to America? He wouldn't be able to go to America I mean, he wouldn't be able to go to America anyway. He's only would be able to go to America because of me. So it's my choice whether I want to go to America or not. And if
Yeah.
I don't want to go, then he can't go.
Yep. Yep. That's exactly what she's thinking. Yep. Yep.
You know? So, basically
That's
she's
it.
like,
Go
she's
ahead.
also like, "I can't breathe one more second in here. I have to go. I can't breathe. It's disgusting." And he says she had a look of disgust on her face.
And he was really sad that she felt that way. He's like, I thought she would be proud of me, and she wasn't.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh my God.
So, new cups alert.
New cups alert.
We
Wow,
don't have
wow,
pictures,
wow.
but we will show you. Honey Nicole, first shot, Nicole delivering 2 Pizzy Wheatsies. Nicole is 38, driving around LA as a Postmates or a DoorDash driver all over those Melrose, Santa Monica streets in the B-roll, babes. And I was like, holy shit. I mean, I literally was like, have I had her? Has
Yeah,
she been?
that and
Has
when
she
she's like, I get lost a lot, I was like, oh, she's not from LA. That is literally what I said to myself. I was like, what do you mean you get lost a lot? Like, I guess I don't know.
You
What?
can't get lost with Waze and like Google Maps. It's like almost impossible.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, what do you mean you get lost? I mean, while like LA isn't the trickiest city to drive in, there's not a lot of one-way streets. You're not going downtown. Like, what do you mean you get lost? Anyways, I felt I had like a moment of pride for my city. So she is, I think, cute as a button. I was
Yeah.
feeling that like haircut. I thought it framed her face really well. I love her the best with the blonde hair, but the red hair ain't bad. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
I
I
was
agree.
feeling it. And she's, whew, um, she is a reseller of clothing. She says that she came to LA to be in fashion and she got there and hated it.
Mhm.
So she is just doing her best and she ended up like getting into spirituality and with that went on a soul journey to Egypt.
Mhm. Mhm. So while she was in Egypt, she was enjoying her time, honey, in Cairo, which I hear Cairo's a great city and you definitely it's a huge city. It's where the pyramids are, but I also hear Alexandria is also a gorgeous beach city. So one of her last days, did we tell you that this bitch loves fashion? No, I mean she loves it. Like she has a weird like back. We'll go back to where I was, but she has like a backstory where she's like, I'm from the smallest town possible, like a crazy small town. I couldn't wait to get out. And the pictures of her, are like, she's trying different things. At one point, she's like trying different aesthetics. She's like an aesthetic girl. You can tell she's hyper aware of her image. She very much likes, that kind of thing. Which God bless. So, anyway, so she moved around, went to different colleges, trying to find herself, and like found herself like 10 years later in LA. Then goes to fashion school and realizes she really hates designing. She doesn't have the personality for it, and now is sort of vintage reselling. So, and she herself has like an eye, and she's is felt, so she can really like I'm sure go into the vintage places and find things to like wear. Anyway, so here we are. um she's back in Egypt and it's her last day, and so she goes to one of the bazaars, like she wants to like look around in, like one of the shops, and they have like beautiful fabric. She goes to one of the fabric shops and that's where she meets Mahmoud, honey, Mahmoud, who's just like squatting in a corner with like big brown eyes, and they like lock those, and
Habibi.
he's just like, "Oh my god, how are you?" And then like like exchange numbers, and she basically has like 24 hours to leave the next day, but like at 10 p.m. So they spend all this time, and he's like, "Oh, well, I want to marry you, and you stay in this country." It's like, tee hee hee.
Yeah.
But then she doesn't. She leaves Egypt, and she wanted to stay, but she's like, "No, what? I left." I was just like so responsible about it. But they like keep in touch, honey, back and forth seas, wharf seas. And so like literally like 7 days later, like they just like fell in love because like they talked that much. And he's just like, "Look, will you come back to Egypt and marry me?" And so she like goes back. She goes back 6 times. And then they have this like full Egyptian wedding, and like listen, in Egypt, there are definitely a full range of religious people in the sense of like, I know a lot of Coptic Christians, which is another like religious sect of community of Egyptians. But obviously, when we saw the pictures of her and her wedding, it was obvious, honey, that he is Muslim. He follows the Quran, honey, and so It gave us also a bunch of pictures of their like spending time together and a flurry of different hairstyles. I mean, she's a little blonde, she's a little pixie, you know, she's like a little chameleon pixie. She likes to try them all. You know,
Yeah.
she's been everything. What?
Yeah. I mean, I understood that they got married 13 days after they knew each other. Like I thought she said that she came back to the US and then like 5 days later she went back to Egypt and then 7 days after that they got married. Like maybe I wrote it down wrong, but like and then after they were married she jumped back and forth 6 times. Yes. And they
Oh.
fought the entire time. And this is listen,
Mm.
I think it's really interesting when the men from either East Africa or North Africa get with Western women and then automatically assume that they are just going to slip into their man's idea of what a woman slash wife should do and be. It's so interesting to me. So it's like, think it's like this. Let me say that what if I'm like a really like super Christian girl who is, out in like I'm in Michael's one day, and while I'm in Home Depot, and while I'm in Home Depot like getting some light fixtures, I run into a very strapping man who I'm instantly in love with, and we get along, but he's not Christian, but I know he's a good person, right?
Hmm.
And we love each other, we love on each other, and everything is great. And then we go to get married. And we do. He doesn't put up a fuss. He'll get married in my church. It's not a big deal. But then after we get married, I expect him to come home directly after work, to stop drinking, to go to church with me every Sunday. And when he pushes back, I'm confused because I'm like, but you married a Christian woman. Like, yes, I accept you and I love you, but don't you think our life would be so much better if we just followed the commandments? Like, I follow the commandments. And when I think of my future, I think of my future with a husband and we raise children who follow the commandments. So I don't understand why you're confused about why I expect you to come home after work, to not drink, and to go with me to church every Sunday. But the problem is that both people in this instance do not think that the other is going to want them to conform to their behavior. And it's always the more conservative person, the more religious person who's like, I mean, and to like think of Mahmoud's perspective, he truly, I don't think he saw himself as like hiding something from her, because that's how she feels. Is like she says that they got married and all of a sudden there were rules that she had no idea about. And she says that she kind of makes excuses for him and says like, well, I know he's bound to his religious like ideology or like his cultural ways of being, but I just don't understand like why all of a sudden there's all these rules placed on me. And I can tell that she absolutely loves him, and that she feels like that man, like, I mean, she says that he's treated her better than any man has ever treated her. And I can tell you right now that goes a long effing way when it comes to women, because sometimes these men out here are butchers. They are so mean to us. Like, and we do it to them too, I guess, like, to be fair, but like the way women are socialized is such a disappointment to the way the world actually is sometimes. And I feel in that moment when she says that she absolutely loves him and she wants to try to make this work, I felt for her because I'm like, I get it. You want to make it work with somebody. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I totally get it. Like, yeah, she says that she's never been loved that way, you know? And when she said it, we were like, it felt like, well, it was very honest. And, you know, there's a different way culturally. And, you know, she was like, I've dated a lot of tortured artists, you
Oh,
know, that kind of guy. Like, so I'm sure she's dated a lot of sort of selfish and are
yeah.
cold and or just like into themselves. I'm sure it feels very different to have a man like be very into you and want to like, you know, and seemingly care. And I think about the commandments thing you said, and I wondered to myself, like, why would a Christian woman be like, and now you have to follow commandments? I don't think it's because the Christian woman isn't saying, I'm forcing my Christianity on my partner. What the Christian woman is thinking is the commandments are things that anyone shouldn't live by. I don't want my husband or my children to kill people.
Yeah.
To so it's is it more Christian or like the person that is Islamic and very and are Muslim and very into the Quran is like, I'm not in the Quran because I'm religious. I'm in the Quran because it's how we should live,
Yeah.
regardless of religion or not. My woman should only be for me and touch
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Her body is for me, and what I know what it's like to be a man. I'm a man, and I think that men look at women and they think they leer at women, and not my woman. She is a respectful woman, and she's mine, and she's also someone who, when I say mine, I mean she's called for. She's you cannot disrespect her by thinking that you can have her. She's spoken
Spoken
for.
for. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Like he is it's not that he's like imposing on her. He's like, this is the way we all should be.
Mhm.
This is how we should do things. Like this is the way to the sun or like whatever. And
Having said that, she's so into fashion, I don't think it's a great idea to have to be with someone. So I don't want and people think that I'm thinking that it's a great idea for her to be with him. But that's what I think that his mindset is. And I think that her thing is that she is such a aesthetic, like such a artist when it comes to fashion. She cannot be with someone who's going to dictate what she's going to have to wear.
yeah. But I feel like don't you I mean like it's not like she can't be Shida and come out with the looks as a as a woman, I mean as a whatever, as a Muslim woman. But also, what if he was like, oh yeah, Shida's clothes are too tight, you can't even dress like that. Now we got to break up.
In the next not in this thing, but in I think the scenes for the next episode, she's wearing this vest, high collared shirt thing, and she looked so fucking cute. I was like, oh my god. Well, I mean, listen, she gets in a fight. Okay, so then let me just go on. So blah 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 blah. So she that's what her life is. She goes to a flea market, and then she meets up with her two friends. And last her friends heard that she first of all, so she ended up like getting a divorce from Mahmoud because she like wanting a divorce, like getting his visa called off and um like blocking him. But then she went back to him because she like misses him. She loves him so much, as we fucking said, right? So then she told her friends that like, look, I might like start talking to him. But then she meets up with her friends at the flea market. She's like, so I'm going back to Egypt. And they're like, what? And she's like,
Yeah.
yeah. They're like, bitch, what? And they're like, later on, they're like, she's fun, but that bitch is really secretive. She
Yeah.
like, never talks. And I get that. Can I be honest? There's something about Nicole that like she's cute, she's fun, but I would never be able to be close friends with her. There is something energetically about her that's a little
Close to the chest. She plays it close to the chest. Like she's gonna keep her true feelings about everything. To me, this is what I see. That it's like whatever the facade is, it's not enough for me. It's like Beyonce's first 3 albums. It's like too surface. It's like, what? I need more meat. I need more meat, you know? What were you gonna say?
I mean, we definitely have like rocked jams with less meat than the first two. I mean, and I know what you're saying, like, I like Nasty Boy and all that stuff, whatever. Uh
No, what were you gonna say about energetically Nicole is
she
just
yeah,
too
she like I think I would they listen. We have a lot of friends listening to people's plans on this show and being like, "Really, girl?" And I feel like I would be everything she would say about her life past the superficial things. Like if I was friends with her, let's just say we'd like talk about fashion. I'd be like, "Oh my god, that's so cute. Would you buy it recently? Oh, this." And be like, "Oh, that's awesome." And she'd be like, "Yeah, And then also like Mahmoud's doing. I'm back and forth with that thing. And I'd be like, "What do you mean, Mahmoud?" And then she would start talking, and then as she was talking, I would just start backing away like that, like Family Guy, like going into a bush. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, oh no, oh no. It's like there's something about her. I'm like, oh, you make weird decisions, or you don't make the best decisions for you, or like there's something that feels very like you're filling a hole, or something a little off. But she's not the only one. Just that sometimes I feel it in such a way that makes me, ugh, I can't quite deal. But so moving on to what's
What if
happening
I
with
were a
her.
shambles? What if I were a shambles, Chris? Would you be able to be my friend if you thought I didn't make good decisions?
No.
Oh my god! So all of your friends, you think they okay? It's great. I want more information.
Oh, all my friends, listen, no one's perfect, but on the whole, all my friends are functioning adults who make decisions that I want. Listen, I don't have to agree with all of them, but
Mm, mhm.
they don't tell me such crazy ideas where every time I've had a conversation with them, I like can't wait for it to end because I'm like my face is melting off because I like can't say what I'm trying, what I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Get me the fuck out of here,
Like
like.
when I said I was gonna move to Guatemala and bring that man to the US.
No, I hated that one, but I did listen, it's not, but
I
it doesn't happen that much, there's only been, like, a couple of decisions you've made where I've been like, "Hmm," but it's only been, like, 3 over the course of, like, 20 years, so the odds are still okay with you, you know? So anyway, they don't buy anything at the stupid flea market, like, and those friends, like, don't really like her. They'll never probably see that girl again. Like, it's either they all go back to the IE. I know those 2 girls, and then, so, one other thing is that she says that when he said that, they could get back together, he said that are you still laughing?
Yeah.
'Cause of, like, I'm reading you or whatever?
Wait, yeah, wait a minute. It's only been like 3 decisions. I'm trying to think of what they are. Whew. Anyways, that was great.
So
And then the friends go back to the IE. Hilarious. Great. Continue on. Continue on. You're
so,
on a roll today.
she's like, "Oh, he told me, like, I can't hug anyone," like, they're like, "Not even your dad?" Like, "No, I can hug my dad's dipshits." They're like, "Not
Yeah.
even your cousins?" And she's like, "Well, no, not my cousins." Like, like, and also I have hot cousins, you didn't even know.
Also,
So then he's
don't
like,
didn't you get the idea that she was Mormon?
I I could see it, I could see it.
Because she's like, "I'm from a small town in Iowa," and I was like, "Meow, meow," like all my
Like
flags.
Amish or something? Yeah,
Yeah,
like
she was like something where she's like, "I really didn't fit in," and I'm like, and that leads me to why she's so like reserved with everything because she's from a quiet ass a religion that wants her to be quiet and stay sweet.
and obey.
Mhm.
Then he starts being like, "I don't want you to show your hair, and, like, I don't want your body to show," and it gets confusing. She says this story that, like, one of the day of the wedding, like, he points to some girl in some short ass skirt, and he's like, "See that girl?" And she's like, "Mhm," and he's like, "You can't wear that." And she's like, "Okay." And he's like, "You have to cover, up now that we're married." And she's like, "Okay." But like she's like, "I didn't really mean it," or whatever. And it's also like she didn't really understand. So now she's like, "Okay, so I can't show my body, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, you can't show your body." And she's like, "Okay." He's like, "And also you can't have just like also be giving like body yaddy yaddy and like body con tight shit." She's like, "What? Now I can't wear fit I can't not tight clothes and not body showing? Like what?" And it's like, okay, well, I guess my mind, it's like, you know what he's saying the day of your wedding, and she's 38. This girl looks young because she's like svelte and slight and like, has like a blonde bob. So I just want us to remember this isn't a girl who's like say a Skylar that's 27 and should be 24. This bitch, 38. She's living pizzas 38. No, that's fine, but 38 pizzas. 30. I'm sorry. No, she's 38.
She is the same she is an older millennial like myself. So I'm like, I I'm inclined to be like, listen, I just want to see where this goes because you're an adult. You're an adult. And how long have they been together? I don't know. Like 2 years?
With, like, COVID or something, I don't know, 10 months? 10 months, 10, I don't know, like, 11 months? They almost got divorced at 11 months. I don't know how long it's been now.
Yeah. But that she applied for this show. So
She
that's
I
the one
mean,
thing we have to think of. They didn't just find her on a plane to Egypt. and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And she told them and they just casted her, she applied. Maybe this is
Yeah.
like her one last ditch effort to like make their marriage work and like I don't know. He agreed to it too. It's so funny when she does a FaceTime with him and she's trying to get him to like talk about their relationship. He acts as though he doesn't know why she's asking these questions. She's like, "Well, remember when we used to argue?" And he's like, "No, I don't. You girl, you do."
This is like this part is like very Arab to me. You know, like
Oh.
this man's not gonna admit that there's problems. What are you talking about? What on camera? How weird. My wife calls and it said, remember when we fight and like he wants to fight? Like, no, we don't fight. No, you know, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Halas, what are you talking about? You know, like that's what it felt like to me. You know, like this they are seem very different. Yeah, they just don't know each other. This woman just jumped into this. And so like at the end of the day, it's like that's why I can talk about her. I don't feel so bad because she's 38. She jumped into this, honey. I mean, she's been knowing, she went back and forth, she still knows. But I mean, I get it. He's never been loved like that. And maybe she thinks that like if she gets him to America, then like he won't be so like you have to dress this way because he'll just be like amongst everyone all the time. But I
Yeah,
mean,
but
he really enjoys the rosé.
she canceled his fucking thing. So like, is she gonna put the money in again to get his visa back? She's already shut down that avenue. That would have been her recourse, was to get him to come to the States. And then he really couldn't enforce that on her. I mean, he could have, but like he couldn't really in the States. In Egypt, she has to depend on him. And so it would be harder for her to strike out and do things on her own without the protection of, her husband or a community to, gather, because she didn't speak the language, she said openly and honestly to all of us. And we are all like, girl, can you learn some Arabic, please? Because you're gonna go live in Egypt. Don't be that American. And so her friends, before they leave her, they say, keep your passport. And to the layman's ear, you might think that means like, girl, just be prepared, like, to like leave whenever you want to. But what that means, no, but what the friends are talking about is don't give your passport to your husband because you'll never be able to leave because that is the way you get out. So keep your passport in a safe place where he doesn't know where it's at. Not without my daughter starring Sally Fields.
I mean, this looks like a still from a movie.
She's just like dead in the face. But he brightens her, he makes her happy and gives her some kind of emotion.
You're right. Okay, my loves, let's move these onsies to our lesbian couple with Sleepy Time Chris and Sleepy Time Tea Chris and Jamie. Okay, so Sleepy Time Tea Chris talk is FaceTiming her boo, and then she's like, "There's my beautiful baby," like she always I think she is on some sort of medication that must be a neurological thing that makes her like always look a little tiny kind of tired.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, her makeup was a little splotchy in this part too. Maybe it's because she was crying and she like literally wiped it all off.
Mm,
But yeah, there's my little baby like Angela.
mhm.
And she also is like really excited to go, but we find out that she's never left the country before. And so then I'm like side-eyeing the shit out of this. I'm like, she's gonna go over there and act a plum fool. It's going to be hard on her. It is hard when you leave the country and you go to a place where no one speaks your language. It's very difficult for those of us who didn't grow up in households hearing other languages. After a certain, I mean, I was in Quebec and I was like, after 3 weeks, I was like, okay, please, I need to see signs that are in English. Seeing signs written in French is like driving me crazy because I don't understand it, so like I can only imagine she's going to live there. She's picking up all of her earthly items in a non-rolling maleta and going to live in
I she she
goes like
really like goes back and forth from looking like somewhat normal sometimes to then looking banana whammas, like yes, anyway, this is a little whatever. So we jumped ahead because of that, but she FaceTimes, she's FaceTiming Jamie and they're like, you're my person, you're my soulmate, I love you so much, and she's like, can't wait to see you. It's only going to be a day till I get there. And like, it's all that. And then, of course, she gets her whole family to drive her. It's like her daughter, her son, like her mom. They're all wearing bananas things. Like, like it's like, it feels like an artistic family, honey. They all like shopped at thrift stores and like I don't need to tell you, they all dress crazy, but she dresses the nuttiest, like look at her in this flat multi-flag costume like she's,
A tutu.
working the it's like is it a tutu?
It's like a top. It's like a tunic tutu with a unicorn on on the right breast.
With a houndstooth jacket,
Oh yeah,
one of those head things like she's about to do like Daniela's 10-step skincare routine.
yeah.
I mean, the top knot, the scrunchie, like I mean,
The
here's the thing.
sequin mask.
Yeah, the sequin mask, this is the way you look and this is a choice in every moment, right?
Hmm. I don't know,
This
girl.
this to this to me is like you're making this choice and it seems like you want to be known as, I mean, like that you're gone, halfway gone.
I mean, though. Also, did you notice the way she was like, "I need to just go and do this because I need to just live my life for myself." And I said, "Well, then fuck your little 18-year-old son." Then she's like, "My kids are adults." I'm like, your 18-year-old is 18. Maybe he's going to be 19 soon. But I mean, the way she feels about going to be with Jamie is like the last 20 some odd years of her life she's just been trapped.
White knuckling it.
I mean, and this is her one and last opportunity to like live her life for herself. And I 100% see her just going there and being bananas. You don't just get up and leave the country after never having left the country and just go live somewhere.
I mean, you do if you really want to change your whole life and you want to escape and you think that anything's better than this and you just like want like it's a midlife crisis, it's those kind of things. There's an air of that kind of thing where you grandize what it could be and it can be better than what it is and there's just a fresh start that's all is incredibly alluring, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But basically, so she gets there. We cut to Jamie, and Jamie is hanging out with her pageant friends.
I mean,
She's being pageants, and like she's going to get glammed up. She wants to like look good for her girl. Obviously, she already bought that cheap lingerie, honey. But she's also beautiful. Like Jamie is beautiful. So like but yeah, she's getting it all done. Yeah, she actually talks to them about the narcolepsy, which I think is the funniest part of like or not funniest part. I mean, the part where she like talks about it, which it was like she's like, "Yeah, like during conversations, she's just passed out before. I wonder what it's gonna be like in real life." I'll be like, "It'll be like that, so that you'll be in real life. You'll just hear the snoring. But at least in real life, you can either like wake her up or like leave the room. I also don't know what you're supposed to do. Like later on, okay, so in the scenes she comes and she also talks about having night terrors, right, which is a thing, and then we also know about night sleepwalking, and the thing I know about night sleepwalking is you're not supposed to wake them up when you see a sleepwalker. I'm not quite sure why they're confused. I think it's because they'll be confused and scared.
which is a dumb reason not to wake them up. Wake their asses up. Like you're walking somewhere. How am I supposed to get you back?
I think the thing I think you do is you should, I mean, I think you should just kind of get up and be like if it was you, be like, wow, wow, let's come back
Could you
here.
I mean, I listen. I would wake you.
I just like sit down. And then this is what I would do. And I'm gonna tell you right now. I would spray so much lavender like around, just like try to get you back to bed. Just like spray the lavender, like and if you say anything to me and I'd be like, shh, I would like sort of like make like a white noise like sound. I'm trying like I don't know, like make you pretend like a baby, like rock you and just like be like, and just like put you back to bed.
I'm like, what if I found out that somebody that I was like intimate with walked in their sleep? I don't know that I'd be able to sleep in their home with them. Like I think that I would.
What what would you be afraid of?
Oh, because it would scare me. Like I would literally turn and see you like standing in a corner or standing in the doorway. Oh no, I've watched too many scary movies throughout my life to have somebody unconsciously moving about the space. Oh no, absolutely not. Absolutely, to see a shadow of a person just like walk by, and then you look over and your loved one is just up, and then if you go wake them up, they might like freak out on you and punch you. Absolutely not. I'm not gonna be punched by some 5'6" man that I
You know
because
what's
they're
too bad? What they should have is little mini arrows with a little bit of, like, sleeping poison, whatever, on them, and so you when you just, like, lay in bed, and when you see them walking, you just, like yeah, it hits them, but it doesn't it gives you have enough time to be like then you do I don't know, you have to get them back, like, "Come back," come back to bed, and they're just like you know,
also
like
night terrors. Yo, night terrors is like people like fighting in their sleep.
screaming.
Screaming too?
Oh, night terrors is literally just being next to someone, being fast asleep, and then suddenly being like suddenly just like ah! Like just like you're like it's like suddenly someone next to you just fucking starts screaming bloody murder, like they're being killed or
Oh
something,
my
and
god.
you're like, oh my god, which is so funny. Also, only not funny at all, horrible. But you know how like when you're in a dream and you think you have to scream, most often you can't scream. Ever do
Yes.
that? Where you're just you
Yes.
like you open your
Mm,
mouth to scream and you're just
mm.
like.
Yeah.
It's this little, like, Ariel, like, he's like, "What's your
Ugh,
name?" You're like,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Or when you need to run in a dream and you can't, and it's just like walking through mud. Oh, so stressful. You know, I didn't have a night terror, but I had a like a bad did I ever tell you this? I had a bad
Reoccurring
dream.
dream? Oh,
I
is it
had a bad
reoccurring
dream.
or only once?
No, no, no. I had a bad dream next to the person that I was dating when I before I left. And like
Mhm.
I remember the dream, being stressed out in my dream and then waking up and then like being like, "Oh, I'm here." And then the next morning he's like, "Yeah, your dream sounded really stressful." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah. You know why I was stressed out? Because you were answering DMs. You were bitches were in your DMs and you were answering them." And he's like he was like, "Really? That's what you're dreaming about?" He's like, "Yeah, it sounds like a lot was going on." It's like, "Why didn't you wake me up?" And he's like, I think I just turned around and saw you struggling, and then it was like, oh, and then went back to sleep." And I was like,
Struggling, you're just like, what are you, like, wrestling the phone out of his hand?
yeah.
It's so crazy.
I was like, and I'm like, oh my god. I mean, I often like not often, but enough. I do have dreams where I'm like, and then I wake up and I'm like, oh my god, thank God that was a dream. Thank God, like one of those. And I'm like, you randomly enough, I have it with somebody who like you, the last person you want to have like a night terror with. It's wild. Anyways,
Well, so sorry about that. Here's the good news. Here we have good news and bad news. The good news is we still have 2 more couples. Okay. The good news is we still have 2 more couples left, and we're almost at an hour. But the bad news is they were dumb, kind of. I feel like I didn't like these couples that much. Like they were like as kind of not as they were like boring to me as composed to the other ones.
I liked
Anyway,
it. I liked it when Jen's friends just read the filth out shit out of her. I thought that was interesting. Um,
well, let's go to Gabe and Isabel first. So Gabe is packing. The mom is helping him pack. And the mom doesn't feel as like you're making a horrible decision like the sister does to Gabe, but the mom is also like, wow, it's crazy that you're packing like your sewing machines. It makes it real.
yeah. Also, the mom is a little bit like, "I'm glad you're leaving. Bye." So much drama. Um, but then we go to Isabel, and Isabel, we find out a lot about her sobriety. I didn't expect to find out so much about her. She's a teen mom. She had her first kid when she was 17, and so basically, her and her daughter are best friends because they're only
She's gorgeous too. Look how
they
cute
look
they are
exactly
together.
alike. Yeah,
When
the
I
daughter
couldn't
is
tell from it took me when they played the scene, I was like, wait, which one's which? Which one's which? Look at them.
yeah. Yeah,
They're
the
cute.
daughter's 16, so that leaves like that's 10 years. So that's 27. Yeah. So anyways, young mom, she has a son named Michael Angel. She literally named her son Michael Angel. And as we all know, Michael is an angel. That's like naming your what are the other angels' names? I don't know. Anyways, Lucifer.
You got your braids done, and I just like haven't paid attention to the just now. Look how long they look.
Oh my, that's not my hair. It's braids.
I said your braids.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry. Yes, I got braids.
Yeah, no, I said your braids. Look how long I look. Okay. Yeah, great. Okay, so so anyway, basically, oh, sorry, I love you. So yeah, they're as we showed you, the daughter is like a dancing person, and they like are doing this like cute like dance, and they like have to rest suddenly. I'm like, okay, but this like they're like dancing in like a tennis skirt. I'm like not mad about it. And they talk about Gabe, and basically after Isabel met Gabe, you know, like she's very close to her daughter, obviously because they were like somewhat close in age, and he obviously had given his Instagram. So she went up and down that Instagram, honey. And the Instagram is very honest and authentic about Gabe's journey, taking hormones and whatnot. And I think that there's probably before and after pictures, maybe, or it maybe just like, you know, milestone pictures. I'm not quite sure. They actually showed some pictures, like maybe, and I didn't know this, like Gabe, it looked like Gabe had gotten some sort of thigh surgery, like whether it was like, and Gabe has very muscular thighs, okay? Very muscular thighs. But I mean, Gabe has also been on hormones, testosterone for I think Gabe said 6 years, maybe 6 to 8 years. So and Gabe we know has very muscular thighs. And we saw that Gabe there was some sort of surgery that Gabe had and my thought is like maybe it is um like a thigh implant?
Yeah, I don't know. I was wondering the same thing. I was like, what is this surgery one can get? And now I wanted to go on his Instagram and see if I can like
Find
scroll
it?
down to the bottom. Yeah.
I just didn't
Um
like listen, it's always so interesting. It's like I didn't think when I saw his thighs, I thought, well, I just thought that they look very, very masculine for sure. But I didn't I my thought I was just, oh, this person has taken testosterone for a long time and works out. And obviously
yeah,
works out.
I feel like women could have that
Yes.
but like women can have those thighs like, you know, what's her face from Killer Sally, Sally McNeil. She had great thighs and calves. Um
But she took testosterone too.
Yeah. So I'm like, you can get it
Uh,
naturally. So I would have never thought about getting implants or any kind of surgery for that. But anyway, it's very interesting. You know, whatever you got to do. If you have the money, do it.
Oh yeah, make
So
whatever makes you happy, you know, for sure.
yeah. So Isabel then like talks about how she was in bad relationships with machismo men who didn't listen to her and who were rude to her kids, and she's never, you know, never expected to be a single mom, but here she is. And she finally decided to get her life together and go to school to take care of her children, and her parents really helped her out a lot. And now they're discussing whether or not she should tell her parents, or like what her parents' reactions are going to be. And I wanted her daughter to say, why do you have to tell them? Because that's what I want to know too. Why do we have to tell? I mean, is it did producers convince Gabe to do this storyline?
I think that I mean, to me, I understand why she wants to tell. I understand why he wants to tell them, and I understand probably why the granddaughter didn't ask, which was the way she said, and tell your grandparents. This is a Latin culture. The grandparents are very close to them. They're there a lot. A lot of meals, a lot of they are like sisters of blood. They are that close to them. Such a kinship. There should be you can't like I'm gonna go like, you know, what if he's gonna go speak at a trans rally? What if he's his whole business is selling pants with fake dicks in them? I mean, like,
Mm.
how do you keep a whole your whole life from someone? And I think there's just the fact that everyone wants to, you know, be open and honest, I think is so beautiful. And I want so badly for it to go really well. I mean, so obviously the scene with her and her daughter is really lovely, which is basically like, yeah, we went down the Instagram. We knew that Gabe was transgendered, obviously. And then Gabe obviously sent the text, which we knew that was like, this is what's up. And then we obviously also knew what happened to that, which is that Isabel was like totally chill, totally cool. Just, you know, I don't care basically. And then she gets to like inform us that yeah, like she the first person she told was her daughter, and then her daughter is also like, yeah, when I found out, like there was a natural curiosity because I was like, what? Because they were just like, oh yeah, he passed. We didn't have no fucking clue. So like just that any, you know, because he looks so mad, you know, looks like a dude. So yeah, like when I saw his Instagram, I was like, really? You know, but I never felt bad about it. It was never like a bad thing. In fact, you know, I just want my mom to be happy and comfortable, and she is, and it makes me really, really happy. It was a really great scene,
Yeah.
and it made me really like Isabel.
Yeah. Yeah. And how Gabe is such a breath of fresh air for her because he's different than all the other guys that she's dated and they connect. So I really do hope the best for them. All right, let's move on to
Okay.
Jen and Rishi. So in this one, she's talking with her mother about what side the forks go on, and they're in a kitchen that is just filled with all of the knickknack and patty wax, just like everything that could be filled, and a white refrigerator, which I haven't seen in so long. So then they make tacos, which then makes me want tacos. So after I saw that scene, I went to this grocery store and got all of the ingredients to make tacos.
To this grocery store?
Mm-hmm.
To this grocery store? I love
this.
you. What kind of tacos? Chicken, beef? What do you have?
I got ground beef.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, like nothing is more like Tex-Mex and not really Mexican at all than ground beef taco, but it's unfortunately really, really great.
I mean, yeah, it is so good. And I like prepared ground beef tacos for like the latter part of the episode. And I'm already done cleaning the kitchen. I'm really proud of myself. And
Does
I
it
have
smell like tacos in your house, in your room,
Mhm,
in your house?
mhm, mhm. I
Yeah.
fully have food here too. So like I have to now eat all of this food that I have.
Leftover taco meat?
Well, leftover taco meat, but I also did do like a food service, and I just got delivered all of my groceries on Saturday. So like going downstairs, I mean, and going outside and like getting like food from the grocery store, um, kind of was out of my budget. But
Mm.
I really wanted tacos. So sister-in-law is really happy for her finding the love of her life, and like they start to cry, and the mom is like, I really want Jen to find someone she loves. Like everyone in her life, like except for her brother hates her, but the rest of the women are just have this soft place in her heart, their heart for their sister. And then they're like, okay, well, what does the family think? And then we Jenny and Sumit the situation, Chris.
Yeah, they are happy for her up until they find this bit of information out. Now they're like, okay, so you're gonna move there. And she's like, yeah, I'm gonna move there because like he can't leave, and like move here because he like takes care financially of his like mom, his brother, his sister, blah blah. Like, oh, all those people, that's great, good. So you have a support system. And she's like, yeah, no, I totally have like the greatest support system. That does not know I exist. Don't know I'm on this fucking earth. And I'll tell you right now, if they did, they'd hate me. But anyway, so yeah, totally great support system. They're like, wait, what? They're like, yeah, they don't know that we're engaged. When he introduced me as a friend, and we see these people's faces
Look at
drop.
her brother. Look at her brother. The
She's like,
brother.
"Yeah, no, I brooded my whole life. I'm gonna totally move there, but at the same time, I'm just gonna let him, Rishi, like set the pace. So like when he wants to like, even admit that he's dating me or show me off in public or, spend any time with me. It's like so she goes down this thing where it becomes this like she's going to give up everything to be with him and cannot possibly fathom a world in which a man would ask her to move to his country and not be open and support her and take her side against his family and everything as if she has never fucking seen this stupid show. We couldn't, all of us were like, this it was, like, unbelievable that we sat through this, and Jen, by the way, in every scene is about to pass out anyway. I mean, this woman also has narcolepsy, if you know what I mean. She tired, but you know what I mean? I don't know what to say, them droopy eyelids. So, I'm just like, "You are too seasoned to make such an ill choice, and we will say that to the ends of the earth, and unfortunately, we're going to watch you do it, and, it's episode 2, so
I
we have
mean, we only
probably a
have
very
so much
long
more.
season.
Yeah, so much more excitement. I wonder how many episodes this season. And I mean, it just like 10 is all we could hope for. Just we hope if they give us a good just 10 and let us go. You know what I'm saying? Just let us go about our lives instead of harboring us here for 21 episodes. Okay, so then she goes to have dinner or lunch with her friends, in which her friends read her the boots the house down. They're like, if there was a face in the definition of insanity, it would be you in the dictionary because you literally keep doing the same thing. Like this is the pattern. You've moved from one place to another place, and then you get with somebody else and you move from that place to the other place, and then you went from that place to Oklahoma, and now it's Oklahoma to India. Like, you crazy dummy. I have known you. First of all, I didn't even go to your first wedding, you idiot, because I knew that shit was stupid. So, like, how can you look me in my face and tell me right now that this shit is gonna work?
Do you think they're gonna be friends with her after this? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, how can they be friends with her that super close and watch their friend just make bad decision a lot after bad decision? Not just 3 in 20 years, wow, but like, like a lot
You know what
more.
it is? It's just that as long as I don't have to be the person you call crying, I'm here for it.
But how could if okay, then that's what it is. If I'm not the person that I feel like I will, if I don't feel like I want to put myself in a situation to emotionally care for you, then I'm not gonna ever think that you're a close friend of mine. Because I do think that there's a part of being a friend, not an acquaintance, but a friend, a good friend, where you allow someone to be that you're emotionally there for someone. So if I decide that you are not trustworthy enough for me to give my emotional care to, then we are acquaintances. We are friendly
Mm,
acquaintances.
okay. Okay.
Anyway.
That's fair. So, then her friends are like, I have a great idea. Let's catfish him.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, okay, I'm trusting that he's going to be good with it. And so they're like, okay, cool. So then the next day, her friend is like, FaceTime me right now on your old ass like PC computer. So she comes out from wherever with this
Mm,
gigantic laptop. I mean, she literally came out from like 2006 with that laptop
mhm, mhm.
and sat down in the kitschy ass living room and FaceTimed her friend. And her friend's like, girl, so remember you said I could catfish him? I did. And guess what? He responded. So Jen's like, oh my God, what did he say? And she's like, he said, do we know each other? He also said, where do you live? And then he hasn't spoken to me since. But red flag! Red fucking flag. Chris, what did you think about this?
Oh, okay. First of all, this is it. This is the God thing. She also had just so you know, she had messaged him, "Hey, been looking up and down your Instagram profile, and I like what I see. You're like hot or cute." And then he wrote back what Wah said. There are so many men on Instagram that would only be too happy to write back to a woman who was like, "Hey, I've been liking what I see on your pics." To not once be like, "Me too," or "You're hot as well," or "Here's some," or not even the low key ones. Give your page like your 10 top favorite hearts. Like he didn't even do that. He didn't even go down and like heart her sexy pictures. I also deep dive want to know what the catfish Instagram looked like. Like,
Because
did
she
she?
was like, I'm a relatively good looking woman or something. She said something wild, and I was like, are
Is it
you?
her?
I'll
Honey,
never
I
wait.
assumed she got some hot pictures of some young hot girl. And if you're telling me
Oh,
that she catfished with her pictures,
that's what I was thinking. I literally was like, well, if it was your pictures, I wouldn't respond either. I mean, it's not like, I mean, you're okay, but you're not worth getting in trouble over.
yeah. But I also wonder why again, I forgot about this. Why does he have so many Instagram followers? Like why does
I
he have
think
like
it's
10,000?
I think it's because he
He's
is
a
hot
model?
and he's like a model and he's like a fitness person.
Okay. See, the one thing also, so yeah, the other thing is that they're like, also, girl, he follows so many women. And she's like, "Really?" As if she didn't know. She's like, "I can be jealous." In my mind, I'm like, if you can be jealous and I would have assumed that you would have looked at his Instagram once to see like who he follows. I personally find it abhorrent when men follow Instagram wannabe thoughties or whatever, or Instagram wannabe, like like slutty girl on Instagram. I'm not into it. I think it's very indicative of a man who like is there for something. And so I think it's always great to look at who some person you like if they're on Instagram, who they're following. And if it's a bunch of like, yeah, like plastic surgeryed, filtered blobbity blues, It's a sign, honey. And you can see it. You can,
It's a
ABBA.
sign.
I mean,
I
ABBA.
saw the sign. And it
Who's
all
singing? Is it bass?
Yeah.
Life is demanding without understanding.
I feel
Yes.
like that song was written in whatever their native language is and then translated because it just doesn't make any sense. The same thing with like that other one, that other song, their other hit. It's like Baby Wants a something.
It's like, I saw a sign, open up my eyes, and I am happy now living without you. Don't let you go. So it's like the whole thing is like she was really, really like sad because she was like so into this person, and then something happened. She saw a sign, and now she doesn't give a fuck about him anymore. And so, like, whatever the sign is, it's just like the whole thing is about changing her mindset.
Mm.
And none of these people will ever do that, because they are operating from places of holes and profound loneliness, and we know that.
Yeah.
Just like we all are, honey, just like we all are. And that's what makes us human, and that's what makes us connect. And at the end of the night, we all rest our head on a pillow wanting for the same things: love, security, health, family, and tacos.
So delicious, these tacos. I mean, I couldn't help it.
Yeah, cumin. All right, baby boos. Anything else about them?
No, she doesn't believe it, and she thinks that her friends are like, "You're stupid." Anyways, have a fucking amazing life in fucking India, you weirdo. And then she's like, "Okay, well, I love you." Well, and then the friend's like, "Okay, I love you too." Well, sorry if I'm overprotective, you dumb bitch.
Yeah, no.
The friend is abusive. That's an abusive, like, well, good luck then. I hope you have a great time in India. I'm sorry that I love you and I'm overprotective.
See, yeah, like that's the toxic trait of someone. If you think this banshee is making bad decisions and has always made bad decisions, then why are you spending so much energy judging her and trying to make her do something different?
Yeah.
You're yeah, you're fucking insane. Like, who's now insane for repeating the same behavior and expecting a different outcome? Okay, we did all the things. Now, here's the thing. We were mad. You know why we were mad? Because Discovery Plus did not post this dumbass episode until like 6:30 p.m. I don't know, Pacific Standard Time. I don't know what time it is anywhere else. But like, you guys, what? The initial episode was posted day of Sunday morning. Like, I got up 6 a.m. and it was there. So I don't understand what's happening. And I want us all to rally together and give this podcast 5 stars.
Yeah.
Also to join our social media so we can rally together and give TLC a piece of our minds by making sure you like and follow us on Instagram at DocuSweeties, also on TikTok, DocuSweeties, and on Twitter at DocuSweeties1. Now, here's the thing. If you really, really want to affect change in this world and you really want to make your voice known, how do you do it?
You can do that on patreon.com/docusweeties. You can do it for $10 a month and you get the visuals. You'd see me braiding my ponytail all the way up so that I can have a consistent braid as it goes down my back, which I hate because I don't like scratchy hair touching me because I don't have hair naturally. Anyways, so do that $10 a month. You get to see the visuals of what you were hearing right now, also some exclusive content and some good times. So if you want to do that. We will absolutely appreciate it. And also, if you want to support me, it's Black History Month. So if you would like to join the Patreon for just this month to support Black people and to support a women of color podcast, do so.
Yeah. I'm a woman of color, but yes, happy Black History Month for everyone. And thank God that Chinese balloon's down. What the fuck? I don't know. I love you guys so much, and we love you guys so much. Thank you so much for listening, and we will talk to you later, okay?
Bye.